Hello, my country people them. Today na number 20 day for September 2022. When na Tuesday, countryman don't come for country with my country people them. When I first see the topic of discussion today on our screens. Today, we will talk about the Amba Terrorism situation for Manu. And we'll also talk about the Swiss cheese eating competition. Where Amba terrorists, they be say they want to go chop cheese, but we don't like with cheese. We prefer we na kum. We give them kum. So we will talk about that. As now join, we now know the usual routine. We don't already get plenty people that don't already join. We now match fire for share, make it go far and wide. My country people them, countryman they come today. Hopefully this live broadcast it go short. We now tell our friends them say MKPD is live, so when I share, I make it go far and wide my contribution. So when I see the advert there on the screen, okay, I get some videos then for play for una. I get some other documents and for share with una. This one they need download, but don't you worry, I don't queue them up right here in this folder for bring them to una. So that is it, my contribution. No worry, I get the information. It don't be queued up. So we will play this video for now while we with the watch, with the share. This one it will play in the background. This one, when I sure so when I don't see this video before, but as when I join when I share, when I listen. I think na Professor on George Ewane. When I listen.
The enemy is indeed in the house. He knows all the corners of the house and knows where to set his traps on suspected. The crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, like the Boko Haram crisis in the far north, has revealed two categories of persons: those who seek for peace and want the crisis to end at all costs, and those whose existence as individuals is pegged on a continuation of the crisis. They are, so to speak, the enemies in the house. Sun Tzu, the Chinese philosopher, says that to fight and conquer in all our battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence, he says, is breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. Although he says so, and rightly too, we also do agree with Walt Kelly, an American cartoonist, that we have met the enemy and he is us. Yes, the real enemy is us, you and I, all of us. Those from the northwest and southwest are the enemies of the northwesterners and southwesterners. Yesterday, parents, teachers, elite, churches, and other unsuspecting persons cautioned the crisis in these two regions. They provided cover to these armed gangs, informed them about military presence, encouraged them in hiding, and pretense they hoped for independence. They are the enemies in the house, the enemies of peace, war entrepreneurs. We've heard men of God encourage the crisis in their homilies on Sundays. In church, we've seen some bless these gangsters and ask God to protect them as they pick up arms against their own country. Whether out of fear, advertent or inadvertent, they are enemies in the house, they are war entrepreneurs. Have we not also heard stories of some administrative officials in these two regions, some elite of the regions, pretending to fight against the crisis in the southwest and northwest region in the day, and yet make huge financial contributions to the armed gangsters in the night? If this be ascertained, then they are the enemies in the house, war entrepreneurs. We can go on and on in citing such examples. Today, the monster we fed yesterday has turned his rage and hunger towards its creators. Villagers are held to ransom, men of God are kidnapped, farmers' produce are seized by the loose and hungry monsters whom we created and fed yesterday. The worst enemies anyone can have are enemies in the house who know you very well. Mokokoma Mokonoana, a social critic and philosopher, says that former best friends make the worst enemies. This is true because former best friends are the enemies in the house. Northwesterners and Southwesterners have behaved as if war was a joke. Worse still, a war that takes place in your own courtyard and backyard is bound to devour you unless you put an end to it. Two wrongs cannot make a right. It is therefore time to right the wrongs of the past by standing up against the crisis, calling these loose and hungry monsters to order by peaceful means, of course. This is not to say that there wasn't or that there isn't any problems of identity in Cameroon. This is to say that violence is never a suitable response to injustice or oppression of any kind. In an attempt to resolve the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest, the government is leaving no stone unturned. So far, far-reaching reconciliatory and peace-building measures have been put in place.
Thank you plenty, my country people them as una join, una march fire for Sharam. That one, it be just been a piece where George Ewane, it be make I think it been last year, 2021 or 2020 be make for explain it is so the actually the enemies of the Anglophones are the Anglophones. The enemy is in the house. He explained how Anglophones, they provide cover, they radicalize the kingdom, they buy weapons and give them and then send them, send me they go kill other people them. And then now we don't backfire. Then we turn around, we want to cry like say we don't know what really happened. That is a big fat lie. The enemy is us. When you look in the mirror, you will see the enemy of the Anglophones. It will be staring right back at you because Anglophones are the enemies of Anglophones. And it cannot be understated, my confidence. So we go play our Kumkum anthem and then play our Cameroonianness, and then I will bring for now the topic of discussion as I see on the screen. Today, 20th of September 2022, when on Tuesday, we're going to talk about the Amba Terrorism situation in Manu, and then we will go on to go talk briefly about the Swiss, so-called Swiss dialogue or whatever nonsense. Okay, so now just some of that information that I don't queue I'm up for now. We will get right down to it, my country people then.
Hail, hail, hail the Kumkumasa, we the Cameroonians, we pledge our loyalty. Kumkumasa, Kumkumasa, you shall free our country from terror. And your blessing shall be like the stars above. The Most High God shall be your guide.
Thank you plenty, my country people them. Today, number 20 day for September 2022. I thank all the people the way they don't already join, when I don't already the match fire the share ram. We already get almost 90 people that watch live. That is 89 people then. Okay, we'll get Lebaran Labo. It talks a Igwe Amba na a means for making money by the wicked and heartless Anglophones. We'll get Alex Ngepi, it's a hello MKPD. Ashu about Blaze Blaze. Ashu, I see your name. It sounds like you be Manu person. This live broadcast today, I can't talk specifically about Manu. Emmanuel Zenu, it come off of Bui. We get Manga Bell, Film Masha Manga Bell, now also Manu person for una we don't know. If I'm not mistaken, I think Film Masha now for Manu you come out, but it talks say a word. The word Anglophone go soon be equivalent to evil. Okay, Manga Bell, Film Masha, we get Precision Jacob, it's a day here. We get Cameroon too, it day here as well. When I match fire for Sharam, as now join my fellow Black Legs country people. Now, I want to play for now one video, and then we will come back for can story about other things. I want to read about this particular Pekin for tell una about the importance of Operation Sunshine. We'll talk about he soon. That Pekin no been my new Pekin, but I will talk about it soon. My computer, I'll come round to you hopefully if we get time for this live broadcast. Okay, So now, as I be talk, I want to play for una a particular video where I don't queue them up and una listen.
So, who in the international community are you going to convince that the work of decolonizing Southern Cameroon was not completed? Who? So I argued that based on that, it is futile to say that you are going to pursue independence by diplomacy. And when Julius Ayuktabe and others started flying around here, acting like head of state already, you see him arrive at the airport in Washington or New York with a contingent of bodyguards and drivers and all of that to say diplomatic offensive. I just laughed. I laughed. It was a show. He wasn't going to lead anywhere. You know? So that part of independence and diplomacy, I argued, and I still argue, was a no-go. It wouldn't lead anywhere. Therefore, if you insist that you have to get independence, know that because that involves breaking up an existing country called Cameroon, the rest of Cameroon is not going to allow you to go to walk out just like that. You come and say, oh, okay, look, after you guys have been trying to assimilate us, we're tired of this, we're walking out. They wouldn't let you go. You know, they will resist, and if they resist, then remember, know then that independence can only be by war.
That one are plenty my country with them. So that one as na fisiam na Ayuktabe, where he as Dr. Monsu the talk, he be being the first clown where he call himself say president of Ambazonia. When I don't see the video where he the parade himself, the talk say so diplomatic offensive, he did for New York or Wusa. When I remember that drama where they been acting for 2017. And many of una country people that wanna fall for that madness. And for me, if I can't talk about this live broadcast, I want to make all the Manu people where they come out from Manu. Someone they call them Bayangi, they get other tribes than within Manu, but I want to make una pin una ears to the back and una listen very carefully. I bring una plus evidence. Right? If una look at the whole of this thing where they call them say Ambazonia, since the inception where it started for 2016-17 till date, the one place where it don't suffer the most devastation out of the 13 divisions in the Anglophone zone, Manu, it don't suffer the worst devastation. That is a fact. Why is that? When I get to ask myself, make una also remember, say, even the name, say, Ambazonia, a commander from Momo, the majority of the Amba terrorists where they carry guns, now picking the way they come out from Momo, but I tell una, as person where he be born and raised in Momo, now one of the least affected divisions when it comes to Ambazonia terrorism. Momo, it get relative peace. Momo, it get the least number of houses the way they be destroyed as a result of Ambazonia terrorism. Whereas in other divisions, them you get whole villages razed to the ground, burned to ashes. Momo, it don't ever, the only time when me I don't hear, now correct me if I be wrong, the only time when me I don't hear, say they don't go for one community, they kill up to, I think it was 8 or 12 people in one incident. And then they burned, I think, about 8 houses. I think that 12 people they killed them and 8 houses were burned. Maybe happened for Momo. Now one time, when me I don't ever hear them, I never ever hear another one again. And that was in 2018, around June, July, or August or so, between June and October 2018, where it happened for Momo, for some village, where it there for under Batibo subdivision. I don't know me of any other incident where Momo people they get a catastrophic loss of human life or property as a result of Ambazonia terrorism. Why me they talk about Momo? Now because they Akumo Momo, and also because the saddest reality, Naseweti, the Momo people them, they at the forefront of this Ambazonia nonsense, right from the inception from 1984 till today. But the two divisions, the way they carry them on top head, Ibina Bui and Manu. Lebialem, yes, it be carry them on top head for 2017, 18, 19, maybe even 2020. All to be the year na Lebialem. But true, Lebialem people, the Bangwa people, they get 99 cents. Okay, maybe not up to 99. They get at least 30% cents. Meanwhile, people then from Bui and Manu, in my estimation and my opinion, which I have every right to have, you have the right to form your own opinion. But my opinion, I say Manu people and insult people are some of the stupidest human beings the way they walk the surface of this earth. Very dull human beings. And they don't allow their communities, their villages, their populations for suffer a lot. Meanwhile, where some other people are there for some side where they enjoy them. Now, when me I talk, when I know fit even understand, maybe I break them down small. When I look at the population of Cameroonians, the way they did in Nigeria as refugees, 90% of them, they come on a Manu. I mean, say 90% of the population of the refugees, the way they did inside Manu, they come out. I mean, refugees, the way they did inside Nigeria, they come out now from Manu. If una no be know, make una know today. Na Manu people they flop for Nigeria, so they be refugees them today. Now their villages they be burned down. Their populations them all na refugees them for Nigeria. One of the reasons because for this phenomenon, so when Manu people them the plenty as refugees for Nigeria because of their proximity to the border, that's true, but also because of their involvement in this Ambazonia terrorism. They be carried the whole thing for head. And especially because in the early days, they be declared so now their own Pekin, where they call Ansisiko, Ayuktabe, it be na their president. So it be easier now for convince the Manu people them for follow this thing with 2 foot, 2 hand, 2 eyes, 2 ears, all things they just jump enter inside. And now why that we don't lead to the catastrophic destruction of Manu, their culture, their heritage. And now one of the also things that this way when I never realize I'm saying so. If you look at even for DDR Center, I can't talk about all of these things then. If you look at even for say DDR Center, what for Bamenda or for Boya, of all the 13 divisions in the Anglophone zone, Manu, now the only one where it get no Amba terrorists we don't drop your guns. For the whole, I know that only one, Kawayanik. The other one, when a woman, they be catching a catchy. And then they just sorry, take it go for DDR Center. So now for DDR Center for Boyana, 2 ex-combatants there for the way they come up for Manu. 2. One now girl where they catching a catch up. Ain't no even surrender, they catching a catchy. Make una understand this dynamic. When it comes to even disarmament, Manu, picking them. And then when we also look at another dynamic, when we get to look at specifically to do with Manu. Now say, the Amba terrorists, where they terrorize the Manu people them, now all 100% Bayangi Manu, picking them where they be born and bred inside Manu. Or the ones where they go hire them, Bayarsa picking them cross border from Nigeria, enter inside Manu for can terrorize their own very Manu communities. Okay? Whereas when you go inside Fako, you could see I say this so the vast majority of the picking the way they call themselves Amba terrorist generals inside Fako, no be even picking the way they come up for Fako. Now picking the way they come on non-west, and when I talk when I go vex, but not the truth. I vomba and be terrorize picking them for Ndian, for Meme and Fako. I vomba na Batibo picking. General Sagat for Fako. Na Batibo na Momo Pikin. The other one we call itself Seweti. I think name I go name na who live who. Spirito where they be killing for Bai on the outside for Memen Fako Dian area. They will be the terrorist Spirito. Na Momo Pikin. One of the problems say una get na say this pikin they get aliases. They don't take on names the way nobody na their actual names. Say like General Spirito or General Sagat or all those kind of aliases them. When if this pikin they will be forced to call their actual real names, una go see and say all that names una go Yengwa, Mba, and all those names them. Now Momo names them. When I talk, I think it's a bit tribalistic. One of the advantages when me I get them for talking, when no man of accuse me of tribalism now because I be Momo Pikin. If na Okana say Clovis be talking or any other person when I talk saying that because it be Southwest, it be tribalistic. I dey just explain that the truth and the reality. And if you hurt some person say I don't talk the truth, make you go find Oliver 33 export bottle a crawl enter inside then lock him. That one concern na you. I dey talk na the truth, na the reality that na fact. Okay? I bring una plus evidence where I go play for una for show una some of the highest atrocities and destructions where it don't happen as a result of this Amba terrorism. It happened for Manu. Okay? Now, una bear with me. I will play for una videos, pictures, and everything. Make una see them. Now, make we start with the Akwaya massacre. This one, it happened not only for June, this 2022. It happened when me be there inside Cameroon. Okay? Akwaya massacre. Una remember Berlin, that village for Akwaya, where Amba terrorists they enter for day. They kill plenty picking them. Now the video this way they make them as they be there for. Ma play the video. As they be the una listen.
Huh? They are the unity warriors so for Manu. Where the Berlin people don't they kill, they destroy our soldiers. So they don't make a move today for Berlin community.
When I don't watch that video before, I'm sure when I listen to Capo Daniel, it go explain something about what maybe happened for Manu. Because when me I talk, and only me wanna talk, when I go can't call me say I be black leg. So now make I let them speak.
Of the solid rock of Ambazonians fighting for our liberation, the great state of Manu have been one of the solid rock of Ambazonians fighting for our liberation and to completely decolonize our territory. There have been unfortunate events that took place in Obonyi and in Kajifu and Obonyi in the great state of Manu, where Ambazonian fighters that are on the Ambazonian Restoration Forces have killed 17 of our local people in those two villages. This is a very, very sad incident that has happened, and we, as the Ambazonian Governing Council, providing the leadership for our people, we have a direct responsibility.
So for that one, it talk about Obonyi, and someone it said they killed 17. That is a separate incident. That one are just for Manu. The Berlin massacre for Akwaya, now a totally different one where they will kill about 30 something people them, Manu people them. I don't show now that video, right? For that one where they kill those people them. Now, make a show now. When I listen to the Akwaya massacre that.
Akwaya, the Akwaya village. I'm a walk in Bayasa boys. They can't kill the whole village. Say, military for village, guide village, where they suffer. Now they carry Bayasa boys, they can't kill the whole village. So, as soon as I'm looking at them, they all die. Oh! Nobody cries so. Nobody cries now. So they all die off. You're my melody and harmony. Sweet Jesus, you're the eyes that I see. Sweet Jesus, yes, I'm dancing to your tune. Who has to give hands for water,
So that short video, not just some of the victims them for that Berlin attack where Amba terrorists they kill dozens of Manu picking them or Manu people them, women, children, animals, men, indiscriminate. They burn down the whole village. That has never happened in Momo. Never. For Manu, the worst Ambazonian terrorist atrocities them. Now for there you go for find them. Now, Ma play this one. When I remembered QRC Okoyong, right? From Manfe. Now the Queen of the Rosary College, Okoyong. Now girls only school. School where they established for 1950s, in the mid 1950s. Amba terrorists, they enter for they burn them down. When I watch and listen.
Yeah, I don't like them. No, come on, baby, sir. I don't like them. You don't like them, man. You don't like them. You don't like them. Yes. I can't reach this. Can't reach my fair. You don't like them. Like that. Come on. What's that? Hey. Come get to this. Take your hands up. What's up, come on. Yeah, okay. You don't like that. Yeah, what's up, okay.
So my country people, that one it happened February 2022. All these atrocities are just this year. I never go back in the past. Now just this year atrocities I come again more. QRC Okoyong, they burn them down because the number one that can go march 11th of February 2022. Now this year, that one they go burn that college. Now Manfe people them, they use that college. Yes, beginning they come from all over the country for can study for QRC. But if you go and do a statistical analysis for the number of beginning where they be registered in that institution, at the very least 50 to 60% now Manu picking them where they use that institution. Now Catholic college as well. Now I want me to look at this next picture what they show now. This picture now the hospital for Manfe before Amba terrorists they burn them down. Beautiful facility where it pass even some district hospitals them for Yaoundé, una capital. Okay? When I see this picture, when I see beautiful infrastructure, beautiful hospital where they build them for treat the Manu population where they be poorly, ill, diseased, and of course provide the medical facility. Now the medical facility that was before Amba terrorism. Now I'm showing now pictures of exactly the same hospital today. Now the general hospital, or General Hospital, I don't remember the actual name, but this hospital now for Manfe, Amba terrorists, they burn them down. Okay? Now the same hospital that I come out for showing at the pictures after Ambazonia terrorism. Now, I don't get the pictures. I never queue them up for playing for una. When I give me 1 second, if I get them, I go play them. I don't think say I get the pictures them. I for sure now. When the Amba terrorists they burn down the bus station for Manfe. When I remember that incident, I don't get those pictures them. I for broadcast them for now. But when I go for Google anywhere, when I Google them, Amba terrorists they burn down the bus station for Manfe. That want to happen now this year, 2022. I don't even go far in the past for the atrocities the way don't far. Now only this year, now atrocities that what they name them. Now, when I see this newspaper article after the arson attack on the hospital, now wait this way the Guardian post daily. If we put them out there, when I see the date for you at the top there, now June the 13th, 2022. I hope so when I see them. Must zoom them in. When I see right at the top there. See. Now in that day, Monday, June the 13th, 2022. Where the Guardian Post daily, it put out this newspaper for front pages. Say after arson on hospital, the Manfe population they staged a protest against growing Amba atrocities. This one are just this year. Okay. Now, when I look at this one, now the Chronicle Times This one, they release also the date for this article, for this one a day. Now, June the 14th, the day after. When I say I'm not, June the 14th, 2022. They say Amba sponsors and their apologies, they fumble in attempt to shield the Manfred Hospital attack. Because as usual, when Amba atrocities they be committed, the Amba terrorist propagandists and their sympathizers and their apologists, they will can lie about them. But it doesn't work anymore for 2022. One of the reasons why I know they work now, because we don't do a fantastic job with our blacklegism, and we don't make it to the extent where you get prominent newspapers, whether not print media or TV, radio, or Facebook journalists, them, they talk openly, and they do this too. They talk about unknown gunmen. They talk them for their front pages, say Amba sponsor. So it be unambiguous, it be clear. Any person know exactly which way they talk about, not on unknown gunmen or whatever nonsense. Okay, now because of the work where we don't do them. Okay, so now when I see now because of that good communication where we don't put them on the ground, where they bring accountability. Now this one happened just a few days ago. My contributor, this one now just a few days ago. When I listen to this video,
just look what is happening in Chang today, brothers and sisters. Just look what is happening in Chang today. This Catholic church behind our house. That Amba boys have come here, put fire inside everywhere. There is fire. So just look at very risky for us to stay here.
So for Chang Village, we also day now for under Manfred Diocese, when a Catholic church, St. Mary's Catholic Church from Chang Village. Amba Terrorism, the end of the day on the 16th of September 2022, just 4 days ago. They kidnapped 5 reverend fathers, priests, 1 nun, and 2 other Christians. Now 8 people in total. And they asked for 60 million francs ransom, 100,000 US dollars equivalent ransom. Where did they ask them? Okay, my contributor. So those atrocities then, now just this year 2022, where I come off for show now, okay? Aquia massacre, you get the Amba Boys, the Bonara Catholic Church, kidnap Reverend Fathers. You get the Manu massacre for Berlin. You get all the other ones where I don't show now, I will don't discuss them. I hope to that point it be clear. I'll come back for can play for now this video, but when I talk about Swiss cheese now that time way we will talk about that one.
Brothers and sisters.
So, bear with me. Bear with me 1 second, my contributor, because something I wanted to do where it don't instant make I get to go to photos. Okay, now we continue, my contributor. Then if I go to them now, we talk about one of the reasons then why we Manu people them they be so into this Ambazona terrorism. At the onset of this Ambazona terrorism, you will get a lot of prominent Bayangi people, Manu people, them where they at the forefront of this madness. For example, you get Aya Paul Abine, and I don't really tell you about Ayuk Tabe Julius, and the role where he be playing, where he talk about saying that he don't declare their independence and whatever nonsense. They run around, say they don't go for New York for whatever diplomatic offensive and whatever nonsense, okay? I remember at one point, this same in Kunyam way they on our screens, Aya Paul, he talks it is so Cameroon government don't freeze your bank accounts them. Forgetting say this, so they get their own Bank of Southern Cameroons or Bank of Ambazonia, where it be get to transfer your bank accounts and for there, what it be still do with Cameroon bank accounts. Fish indeed. And also, now the same Kunyam this way, if it talks say it don't sue una countryman for court. Now 2000 it don't be more than 2 years. Every year on the anniversary, I dey remind you, say if it talks say they take countryman go court. What happen with that court case? One that foolish international idiot. So make I go up and then I scroll down and then I see if I don't miss anything, and then we'll talk about that. Now, when I remember this, when I talk about this, then I'll talk about the dialogue and all of those things. Then now this one it will lead me to dialogue. So I'll come back to this post. Then we can talk about the so-called Swiss dialogue and whatever nonsense. When I don't listen to this outing with Bishop Nkia, a talk for BBC News, right? I hope that every person, they don't listen with regards to the burning of the Catholic Church, St. Mary's Catholic Church from Chang Village, from Manfei, and the kidnapping of those 8 people, then where they ask up to 60 million francs CFA. When I go for this same platform for a Better Cameroon Facebook page, a day for day, we don't share them too for WhatsApp, we simplify them. We'll come to talk about that in the next few minutes, but in the meantime, yes, in the meantime, I want to also explain for now how what blacklegism it the change and it affect Amba terrorism so dramatically. So now I will show you now just in the past 20 days. So since the start of September 2022, we then now on the 20th of September. So in the past 20 days alone, I will show you now a few headlines from one newspaper alone, the Guardian Post, okay? I know we'll go into all the other Anglophone newspapers. We'll just take one as a case study. Maybe we'll now see the importance and the impact of what we would do. The newspaper headlines them and how it informs our population and how, if you understand how effective our blacklegism it be. You're looking at this newspaper, this one and the one will come out today. Today, 20th September. If I bring this thing down, and I will see I'm right at the top there. Today, Tuesday, 20th September 2022. Okay? Now, newspaper headlines is one, when I will see and they talk about President Paul Biya's envoy, Prime Minister John Gute, make a very strong presence at the Queen's funeral. Fantastic. What's the Amba terrorism get to do with that headlines? And the fact that Amba terrorists, they not be recognized. None of them were invited, despite the fact say Sako Ikome, a write letter sent for King Charles III. They beg and all that kind of nonsense, one recognition and everything, they ignore them. Okay? Now the point I want to get to take them away. And then also for una Bamenda people them, now another piece of news that way they write down, they say Bamenda Babanju Road, they say the World Bank don't announce the resumption of work. Okay? Fantastic good news. So now make we go to the next one. This one, now newspaper headline will come out yesterday, the 19th of September. Now the headline that Amba terrorists would not be happy to see that headline. Okay? When I read them, it tell them the burning of the Catholic Church in Manfei. The bishop says Catholic Christians turned Ambazonia fighters responsible. No more unknown gunmen, blah blah blah. It talk His Lordship Aloysius Fondong describes it as an act of abomination. So this Mr. Aloysius Fondong, when Bishop of Manfei, he described him saying abomination. And now picking them from Chang, they carry out that terrorist atrocity against the church inside Chang for Manfei. So the newspaper, now we the blacklegs, they don't create this atmosphere for newspapers and for boldly print this kind of news headlines them on their front pages them. They don't still fear Amba terrorists anymore. Back in the days they go fear because most of these publishers are people that now Anglophones them, where they get investments and properties and interests in the Anglophone zone. Maybe their family members are still there inside the Anglophone zone. Maybe their papa or their house, they're still there inside the Anglophone zone. For 2017, 2018, all of these so-called journalists, they will fear for print against Ambazonia terrorists because they will fear say so witty, they go get Amba terrorists where they be sent after their investments and their interests for their villages, then for go burn them down. But for 2022, when I say they boldly, openly mock them. One of the reasons, and which is fantastic, now say with it, Ambazonia terrorists, they don't get them, no leverage anymore. They don't get that power when they get them for 2018, 2019, where all man be fear them. They don't have that leverage anymore. My country people now understand that one. So now for 2022, you get this situation where any person if they just post anything against Amba terrorists because Amba terrorists, they don't get that leverage where they get them over the Anglophones anymore. Now my contributor, there's another thing where I really want to play this video for Bishop Nkia because when Bishop Nkia be talk, there is something there where all blacklegs them when I need to pay attention to. Wait we talk, I will explain that for now, but the only way for explain for now properly now for play the video for now. So I will go play them online because it is denied for download. Then I will come back now, finish. So I don't show now this one. Now this headline, now 15th of September, just 5 days ago, wait till the headline they talk. The Northwest funds they declare spiritual war against Ambazonia terrorists. Okay? For when I not understand, for we for Northwest, what chiefs and the funds them, they get a sacred part for play in day-to-day life for the ordinary Northwesterner. Okay? The funds they get a lot of power. They feel control a community by their laws, by all this spiritual war and all of these kind of things them as they talk. And all these funds them now because they themselves said they be being Ambazonia terrorist sympathizers. Some of them they are beginning to be Amba Terrorism for Bush. Now why that way they no be one for act. But now because the water don't pass Gary and the dynamic on the ground as the way things they don't change. Why will all these Northwest funds now they don't come in unison, they declare say no, enough is enough. That is bad news for Ambazonia terrorists, and they repost them on the front pages for the Guardian Post. Next one. For this particular day, when Wednesday, the 14th of September 2022, when I see for the newspaper headline, they talking about Chantal Bia, a journalist where he died. But if I look at this part, where they now on the front page, what are they talking about? They say for Meme, military they killed 2 Amba terrorists them, and they destroyed their camp from Bonge. And they talk now exactly this particular story where we will broadcast them as well. So they broadcast them on their front pages them as with the Kumkumais Ambazonia terrorists, which is fantastic good news. One of the things we get to take them away with this kind of news nativity, like I don't always tell Una, we need for continue for they remind ourselves say every single day with the kill Ambazonia terrorists. I not talk say Kumkumais, I say kill them. Just like how they put them for their front page. Okay? Every single day with the Kumkumais Ambazonia terrorism. And not a single one of them it be recruited. What does that mean? It means that they go extinct because they don't get the ability for replenish. As we compromise them, they don't get the ability for convince any more gullible Amba shit, no weblers, Anglophone youth for carry gun, a fall for Bush. So this is fantastic news. Now, we look at this one on Tuesday, the 13th of September 2022. This one are mockery and insults. Where the Guardian Post, it put them on their front page. It talk about Chris Anu with Chris Anu picture on the front page. And I see him. It talk for this. This is a comedy, the comedy of the century. They say Chris Anu's swearing in. It put them in quotes, swearing in as Ambazonia, imaginary country, imaginary republic, mocking them, insulting them. Okay, this is something that you could not find in 2016, 17, 18. In any media, even the Francophone press, you could not see this. Okay? Now that the Anglophone journalists, they write them on the front pages of their newspapers, how things have changed, how the tables have turned. Now, we'll go to the next one. This one now, the 12th of September 2022. You don't go from Gary Master to CDC ambassador, Eric Tato Tano. Now, Tori don't change. Eric Tato now, my new person. So as I tell you now, one of the reasons why a lot of destruction don't happen for Manu. A lot of the IDPs and a lot of the refugees them and a lot of the burning down and destructions they happen now inside Manu, and the fewest number of ex-combatants where they don't drop their guns there for DDR center now Manu. Even for Bui, you get more sort picking them where they don't drop their guns, they run, come off for that nonsense they there for DDR center for Bamenda than Manu. Manu now just the worst. Manu picking they need to surrender, they still there for that thing from Trong. And now for day, now why don't I say and say this? So the most amount of destruction it happened now inside Manu. When I look at the refugees, you look at IDPs, you look at atrocities them, you look at burning communities, burning villages, killing civilians, and all of those things them. The majority of the atrocities they be committed now inside Manu. Okay, so now you get Eric Tano don't go from Gary Master. Now they preach say this, so no, Miss School they go on, make CDC go back. Now total U-turn. One of the reasons now because of say we the black legs we don't win. We don't win when it comes to this communication for school boycott where Amba terrorists they bring them up. We don't win for the practical aspect. We don't win on the ground. We don't win in every aspect. When it comes to this communication warfare, especially when it comes to this school boycott, where they want for deprive or picking them, and they don't get education. We don't win. Now, why that way they shamelessly talk now say, well, but the Palava school, black legs they don't win. Make we wave the white flag and then talk say me picking a go school. Even the one they talk now say yes, make school open, but community school. That is still defeat. For them not defeat, because for 2016, 2017, it was total no school. And I will come to that, okay? I will come to that. I can't show now. They be want to use this issue for school as a bargaining chip for force Cameroon government to come to the negotiation, to the so-called negotiation table. I'll come to that when I talk about Ayuk Tabin, then I'll go talk about dialogue. In a few minutes, we'll talk about that very soon. Now, this one on the 5th of September 2022, where so the Guardian Post, I just given a case study now, just one newspaper. All these headlines about the show now, so now just in the past 20 days, so in the past, no, in a 1 year thing, just in this September 2022, this one at the 5th of September 2022, the right civity. They say after 6 years of school boycott, time for separatists to allow effective school in Northwest and Southwest. Now they openly, publicly advocate against Amba terrorists, their policies. Okay, they directly attack Amba terrorism, their atrocities and their policies against school boycott. Right? This was not the case for 2016, 2017, 2018, because these people, where they published these papers, they were sympathizers, if not direct Amba supporters and financiers. Make una understand that, how tables have changed. And then now, you also get at the top right-hand corner for here, the talk says soldiers, they rescue abandoned 1-day-old baby in Bangui. Now, another fantastic news now, they actually be forced for put out stories on their front pages where they portray the Kumkum distributors, the Cameroon military, as a force for good, where they rescue Anglophone picking the way they burn and throw them. They go rescue them. This was not the case. For 2016, 2017, 2018, it was not the case. Now, some of these people, they make this picking they carry gun go for bush because they tell them, say now good thing they do them. They be hide them. That way they go do them. They will pay money, they give them money, and they nobody ever want to talk the truth. If they will talk the truth, as how they talk for 2022. So since 2016, if these people they will talk the truth, this thing enough escalate reach the level where it be reached for 2019, 2020. So now another thing that now make we look at this one. Another one, this one now on the 9th of September 2022, the Guardian Post Daily, again the toxicity. Conflict expert slams separatists advocating school boycott in Northwest and Southwest. Yes. Now they did now open revolt, revolting and denouncing Ambazonia terrorists, their strategies for stop picking them. For no go school. They stop picking them deliberately for no go school because they want to use them as a bargaining chip. They go on to say school boycott is a move that is counterproductive and it will not force Yaoundé to negotiation table. Yes, it will not force Yaoundé. So they make them abundantly clear. Say yes, we understand. Say when they use they begin their education in the Northwest and Southwest as a bargaining chip. When they use the begin their education as leverage, okay? When I don't hold the begin their education hostage, it is deliberate wickedness. It dey like say you carry gun, put them for your head, then tell your pa say, if you don't buy me new shoes, I go kill myself. All where the pa need for do for defeat you, now for ignore you. And that is exactly what the Cameroon government has done with the Anglophones and Anglophiles who carry guns, destroy their own communities, when I burn down Catholic Church from Chang Village from Manfei, how that one take concern Paul Bia and Yaoundé man. When I go burn QRC or Koyong from Manfei when I begin to go for that school, how that one take concern Paul Bia or Yaoundé man. When I go burn down Park from Manfei, how that one take concern any Francophone man. Now Francophones they use them. No. When I go burn hospital from Manfei, when I only when I use them. How that one it take concern Yaoundé man or Paul Bia? When I understand. So, as that person I say, the move is counterproductive and it will not force Yaoundé to negotiation table. So, it is deliberate. It is wickedness of the Anglophones to the Anglophones, where they decide for mortgage una futures, una picking their futures, force them by the gun, say me they no go school, burn down their schools like QRC or Koyong. Okay? Say me gonna picking they no go school because they want for force you on demand for can negotiate and dialogue with them. It will never work. The only thing where President Paul Biya and any person will get 2 eye brain cells, we need for do not ignore una. Ignore una frustration go multiply, una frustration go grow even more, and then una go look at more ways for self-destruct, for destroy una selves. And the more una destroy una selves, the more una commit atrocities in our communities, the more una create blacklegs, the more the population it becomes tired and fed up, the more the population it fight back against una. Just yesterday, ma show una where una don't know. I will put them on the screen in a few minutes. Amba Terrorism, the population for Manu, not be Manu, for Lebialem, they catch Amba Terrorists, they go hand them over to the Cameroon military. Yes, we broadcast the picture now. When I want to see them, I will show you again. It will be on this screen now in a few seconds. Okay? Now I'll come to this in a second. I don't know why it take long, but it will download the picture. It will download. I show now on my phone for here. If you not agree, I'll show now because I always talk my thing. I show them plus evidence. Or now in this, when I bear with me, whenever I day live, now only that time my tablet it go start for the misbehave. Now the picture that for on the screen for now. When I see now Amba Terrorists that for Lebialem, where the population they catch them. No mean the first time that now one time. They catch them, go hand them over to the military. Plenty in different villages them. When I tell me one time where a community it don't ever catch Cameroon military, it go give Amba Terrorists. When I tell me one time, but every day they can't tell when I say that them the control ground zero. So now I don't show now those examples, then just the Guardian Post example. Now may we look at other newspapers, and because not only the Guardian Post, it be Anglophone newspaper inside Cameroon. Take municipal updates. Okay, when I say I'm just this one are just yesterday. After they don't go for that church from Chang, they go kill, they go burn down the church and they kidnap all these people. Then a day on the front pages of that newspaper, now tarnishing that. The Chronicle Times, the same thing. Okay, self-proclaimed Amba leaders weep as multi-million Swiss deal collapses. Now we can't talk about the so-called Swiss deal or whatever. And then they talk about Amba Terrorists, the atrocities on the Catholic Church, it be exposed. Despite the fact that they try for high dam and all of those things, it does not work for 2022 because we, the blacklegs, and for social media, for Facebook, we are not the only one. The print media now, they don't join the game and they understand now, say the population, they want to be informed. They don't like all those their lies, the way they be telling for 2016-17 or where they recover all for Amba Terrorists, the atrocities them. They want the truth to be told. Now make I digress small before I come back for can talk about the dialogue part. Okay, might digress small, but I want to drink small water before I can talk about dialogue. Hopefully this live broadcast will end up after 1 hour, 10 minutes, or maybe if we do them under 1 hour, then so be it. My contributor. When I listen to Cameroonianness, where I don't touch the wrong button. When I listen to small Cameroonianness, and then and then we go. I might drink small water, and then we can't talk about that dialogue and whatnot. I get 1 or 2 videos for play for now, and then we'll do more analysis. Now listen. Thank you plenty my contributor. This one now the second part of this live broadcast today, when at the 20th day of September 2022. Now we will talk about the so-called Swiss mediation on a Swiss cheese or whatever. But before I talk about that, I want to show something my contributor. I want for, now the picture don't decide to appear on the screen. Well, I tell you now, say this tablet define me palava no. Now it don't finally decide to appear anyways. So wait way me I want to talk before we talk about that dialogue. Now about Operation Sunshine. I want to talk briefly about this particular Pekin where when I first see the information where there on the screen, he named na Mbele Prince Will Mangia. It be been an Amba Terrorist for around that side for Newtown Barumbi, Southwest region, where was sunshiny on the 30th of March 2022. Okay, barely 20 days later, 20 days after was sunshiny, the kumkumaisa, the shimbu. So now in that, now die body that. So now they picking this, and the case it be closed. Now, whenever will sunshine you, my country people them. If you like, you take them seriously. If you like, you joke with them. That one no concern me, oh. Because like some person can't tell me, make a digress. But some person talk say countryman, when I know say, when I the sunshine, if some person can't write comment for your post where you no like him, you just sunshiny, but that person too get you freedom of speech. I tell you say that person get freedom of speech for incite violence and terrorism inside Cameroon, right? What about my own freedom of speech? Do I not also have the freedom of speech for incite violence against thee? For post the picture talk today, so make the kumkumaisi. Do I not have the right for incite violence too against thee? Can't see confusion. It confused. You don't even know. Because according to them, they believe, or maybe what had they watch now Hollywood movies or they watch now American TV programs, they hear this nonsense about freedom of speech. They don't know they say this, so there are consequences for your speech. You get the freedom for talking. Yes, the state will not go after you. And make una no forget saying that American law, no be law for Cameroon. Understand the law in the country you live in. Even when you dey inside America, understand the law in the state in which you live. For America, if you there for one state, the laws they be different from the other state. Federal law, now law where it govern the whole country. But each individual state, it also get your own laws. Now, make I give you an example. For some states, then for America, the legal age for drink alcohol, now 21. For some other states, that age, now 18. So when me say, you feel be you, now a 20-year-old person, you enter. What I talk say, you enter for Florida. Like I be there for Florida not too long ago. You go for Florida, you be 20 years old. You come on you for another state, maybe you come on for California where it be legal for drink alcohol at the age of 20. Then now you then inside California, you reach there, you buy alcohol, drink, and you go prison. Now the same country or now the same United States of America, but you need to know the laws where you are. Another one, that law of consent, but the age of consent, basically at a certain age, it be considered as if the person not mature enough for give consent. You feel married, you feel sleep woman or sleep man picking or whichever one you desire. So now for some states, for America, the age of consent now 16 years old. Which means that at the age of 16, you feel sleep with even 90-year-old. That one now your choice, now your right. You get the right, you be old enough, considered according to the law as mature enough to give a consent to sex or whatever, any sexual activity. But for different states in the same country of the United States of America, that age now 18. Where it means that if it be you 17 years old, you feel even marry with the person for one state, it be legal. You cross border, enter another state, and you be 17. You don't get right for sleep with that person when you're legally married husband or wife. Because of the law for that state, if you do it and you're caught, you go prison. So make una understand, when una read some nonsense with the writer for Facebook or for WhatsApp or Wusai, ask, say, na Cameroon law or na American law, because in the American law, it no concern you at all. So make una take that nonsense about freedom of speech, go try for some biggest lantern way to move the inside. Because the law is supposed to be followed and the law in the territory where your foot they be planted on top at this same moment. So no go they read about freedom of speech when the American they talk their thing, it don't concern you, you cannot put on for head. They work at it talk to me about freedom of speech. So you get the right, even for America, for UK, you get the right to your freedom of speech, but you know be free from the consequence. If your speech it cause harm to some person, that person get the right for pursue you. And if your speech is incite acts of terror inside Cameroon, and the terrorists they come after me, I get the right for come after you. So, and then me too, I also get my right. Don't forget, say, me I get right as well. No mean that only you want get right. Me I get right. So we sunshine the Shumbu on the 10th of March 2022. By the 30th of March, they kumkumize the Shumbu. Fantastic news. People they will talk say countryman blood there for your hand. Yes. Blood money if you mean. Now ye, idiot. That way we sunshiny if or go chaka, go for police station, for gendarmerie, or any center where they distribute kumkum. Go tell and say, I no like for chop kumkumo. Now this I don't can't surrender. That's it. Instead we go give you a carrot. No be kumkum, small carrot. Or small gari, anything. No kumkum. But you talk say you strong. Why them they we jam them, eh? The next time I want to show a picture of a public, then kunyam de horizontal. Now in that, when I say I know, fantastic news. Now, this particular one with the on the screen, ma show na fine. Now so-called General Grandpa for our wing, Santa our wing, okay? We sunshiny, we also sunshiny brother too, wait there for Douala, when na he be financial coordinator, na he the control other money, the chop other money for Douala. If they for Francophone zone, as I always tell when they enjoy their life, while and they are picking the golden school, all teen. Why when on they no fit go for school because of their terrorist atrocities, the way they don't start them for our wing. We sunshiny now since the 8th of May, this 2022. Today, I get good news for now. They don't catch you for Douala as I speak. Since we were sunshiny, instead for go hand himself to the authorities, no, it no Greek go. It thinks it wrong. Then because they believe it is so now them own Cameroon no. Good. Now them own Cameroon. Now make I can't talk about what dialogue. Nonsense where they talk about dialogue. So now don't do for this live broadcast now 1 hour. Maybe in the next 10-15 minutes or so we'll wrap up because for this palaver dialogue, I don't even need for talk plenty itself. So now, when I go back to 2019, when I see this newspaper article, okay, now the date that Monday, May the 6th, 2019. Ayuk Tabe, if you talk to the Post, when I see those 3 bullet points them now, those 3 bullet points them. One, he insists, say Boya is their only goal. Why? How times have changed. Point number 2. He maintained, said the government has never approached them for dialogue. Of course, now remember, very important, they beg for dialogue all the time. Point number 3, that bullet point, he said with it, schools could resume if Cameroon military they go back to their back. Yeah, the conditions. So they want, like I tell you now, they never ever, Amba Terrorism, they don't get them secret. They never ever hide the facts today, so that they use una picking their education as leverage. That they hold una picking their education hostage. That they use una picking their education as a bargaining chip for get concessions out of Cameroon government. It means that some person don't decide for shoot itself for food, make different person feel the pain. All way your adversary a need for do now for ignore you. That's it. And now all that way Cameroon government don't do this far. And now why I don't tell una and I don't remind una over and over again say Cameroon government it never ever fight Ambazuna terrorists one day. Una thinks that the joke. They don't have a reason to. Anglophones are doing that for themselves. They are destroying themselves. So why go and help them? You don't call some person saying they're your enemy. And then you go on for study, destroy yourself, make your enemy feel pain. Why you expect that enemy now? For can't help you. Life does not work that way. Okay, now when I see how they try for, they beg for dialogue. I don't tell them say there's no such thing, no Swiss cheese or whatever. Now, when I listen to Sako Ikome, this one yesterday for Amba Alphabet TV, I be say my check out what will happen for day. They will get live broadcast. I think now only about 13 people they will watch live. 13. Excuse me. When I say 13, I mean say 1 and 3 they will watch live. Now me I go add themselves. It be been at 12. Now me I go add 1 on top. It be 13. So I want to check what way they do for this. So I hear the idiot. It talk for them. They will talk. The topic of discussion be been at this so-called a team act where they call and say Ambazonian coalition team. So since we become together because of so-called Swiss dialogue, and now a Swiss dialogue no still exists. So what's the future of team act? So they will discuss them. When I listen to Sako Ekome, it talk, and then if I get something, I go add them on top. But before Sako talk, this point don't just come to my head. I don't want to forget them. When Cameroon government, it be make them abundantly clear, it make them official to the Amba Terrorism study, so they not be them interested for Swiss cheese, would decide, would be we interested now for deliver kumkum to the Amba Terrorists, then would not be we interested for their whatever Swiss cheese eating competition or whatever they want to go do for Switzerland. We were not interested. We'd be interested not only for deliver kumkum. When Cameroon government, it be make them abundantly clear to them. Chris Anu, it be talk some nonsense. We talk say after all, the Swiss government, they be what we talk say the Swiss government, they be signed a memorandum of understanding with the Swiss HT humanitarian dialogue, something like that. Say they no go engage another third party, so they go only deal now with the Swiss mediation process and no other process. But now with the Swiss the Swiss deal, it don't fall. It mean now say na advantage according to them, na advantage for them, because now it mean now say they feel engage any other international organization or international partner for mediation or whatever nonsense. Now, make una understand, when a people are so frustrated and the people are so desperate, where they don't understand, one, they don't even understand which way they want, and two, they be so confused and desperate. They are grasping. You know, when person they drown, they go send hand grab snake. Anything we see, they go hold them. When person they drown, okay? So they now in that terrible, desperate situation. So, and when they be so desperate, they talk nonsense, because even that snake where they be see them, saying the things in a branch, they catch them for try for use them as a flotation device, and then they realize in a snake. You understand? Wait, he could talk. He could talk, say, yeah. It just talk nonsense. But tell you something. If the memorandum of understanding it be signed by the so-called Amba shit no white blast idiots and the Swiss cheese eaters, right? Then now you don't decide. You see and say this, so the process is not going as you wanted. Okay, they are not bringing Cameroon government to the negotiation table or whatever. They are not doing what you wanted. Why you not just cancel the agreement? The agreement, nobody get no financial ties where you talk to this. So if we breach the agreement or the contract, you get reparations, or you get some kind of redundancy payments, or some kind of payment to pay to get out clause. There is none. At any given time, you, the Amba Terrorists, could have just withdrawn your role, or just withdrawn yourselves from the so-called Swiss mediation process. If you saw that it was not going as you wanted, you could have left at any given time. Why would they wait until the Cameroon government decide for the Swiss people? They say this, so we not be interested. Well, when I want to go chop cheese, I go chop them. If I don't want to chop them, that one now business. We not do with it. Why would I wait for that embarrassment if we not be desperate? Why would I wait till the Cameroon government they talk say we not be interested before we start to talk nonsense? So now the same story that way they be talking, time we go compromise Oliver Lekiaka. Yet the excuse where some shit no one else can't give it. They say, after all, the new general that we are going to have, another one is going to come up, even more deadlier than Oliver. I say, okay, so if una be no say for kill Oliver Lekiaka, I go bring una a deadlier a general where it go give una independence. Why una not be kill Oliver una self? It doesn't make any kind of sense. If killing Oliver it be an advantage for una, why did you not do it yourself? Why una be wait now we can't kill the Shumbu for una? You could have done it since 2018 so that una get independent. So una if you don't get independent by now, no, because according to you, compromising Oliver na advantage. Where it go mean say wait the next one we go come now, it go be even more deadlier. It go even take we go Yaoundé. Una boya quick. Now good thing. As a matter of fact, now good thing say they kill Oliver. Okay, fantastic. If that be the case, why would not be compromising on ourselves? You understand? So they talk now say the failure of the Swiss process now even good news because now they engage other organizations them for negotiation. So why did you not just exit the Swiss nonsense, cancel the memorandum of understanding, go and engage yourself with a different mediator? Why did you not do that? Why were you waiting for we for do it? Now just for also tell una for make una understand say they have no leverage and they have no authority. They don't get the ability for make things happen. They don't get ability for force Cameroon government to do anything. Nothing. They don't get the ability for control anything where they happen for Yaoundé. None at all. Not even their empty threats. They don't work. Even someone will listen to them for their empty threat for 2018 and 19. That nonsense, no one listens to them now because they don't overuse the threats them and they amount to nothing. They get no capability. So why would you listen to that kind of idiot? Now when I listen to Sako Ekome, time we be the talk for that Amba Alphabet TV, I cut a small part of it. Make when I listen, if I feel understand what you really talk good. If I don't feel understand, trust me, you're not the only one. Yes.
We established Ambazonia coalition team. Remember, it is our project that led to the creation of the Ambazonia coalition team because we wrote to the Swiss requesting their services as mediators. And then they responded to us. We were also informed that another organization wrote to them, but they chose to reply to us and requested that.
When I hear what you Sako Ekome talk now, it say we wrote to the Swiss requesting their services. Now listen.
That led to the creation of the Ambazonia coalition team because we wrote to the Swiss requesting their services as mediators.
So, Sako the tell when I say, now them she don't. The Swiss people they don't even know, they don't even care. Say something they happen inside Cameroon, it doesn't bother them. Now Sako Ekome them because they be desperate. They don't get nothing. They don't get no capability. They cannot move Yaoundé an inch. Okay? Ineptitude, incompetence. They shouldn't they write letters, send them to Swiss. The white people, they beg them, say, maybe they can't help them for mediocre Cameroon. Cameroon government never even tell no person, say, one for talk to these idiots. Now, Sako them, because they be desperate, they don't get them the capability, they cannot move Yaoundé, they don't get no leverage. They talk about dialogue. You go dialogue person, when if it harm you, if it cause no harm to you. Like I don't talk earlier, when I go born QRC or Koyong, probably I begin to go there. Now Manu begin then go born Manu school for punish Manu people them so that me probably I feel pain. When I go born the hospital for Manfe, now Manu people they use them. Now only when I begin they go born them so that make it pain probably where he hospital then for Switzerland. When I go born down the Catholic Church from Chang Village from Manfe, where President Pobia no first even knows say exist. Now man, you begin to go do that one for punish Pobia because now Pobia church. Oh, I don't understand. So they write to the Swiss begging. Now what I tell them, say they are begging for dialogue, begging. They say come and mediate. Did Cameroon government tell you that they want to talk to you? Main dialogue. The funny thing I say, Sako no even talk with Ayabacho. You know the talk. Sako, his so-called communication minister, Bibina Chris Anu. Sako know the talk with the own communication minister when a Chris now communication minister. They know the talk. But they write letters for Swiss. Say me they can mediate. Wonderfulish international idiots. It continue when I listen.
And then they responded to us. We were also informed that another organization wrote to them, but they chose to reply to us and requested that we see if we asked if we could get others to come and join us to prepare for negotiations. And we said yes. The founding members or the member organization that signed to as founders of that association of organizations, these are the people who endorsed the process we brought to Amazonia. The process that we engineered, which was the Swiss-led process. Those who signed on to it became known as the Amazonia Coalition Team. So this is our creation. Now, with what has happened, are you suggesting, is anyone by any stretch suggesting that, oh, because of what has happened, let us just go ahead and look for something else and let it go? Let's allow some people who are already trying to take it away from us, let them take it away. You know what? Here is the prophecy. If they take it away, they will kill it. So in this revolution, we have always been creating, and some people take it, and we allow them take it. We try to look for another corner, and they take it away, and they kill it. We are not going to allow that to happen around the issue of negotiation. When during the conference, the town hall, I said that Amazonia Coalition Team technically has been dissolved. I chose my words carefully. Technically is not entirely. Technical has to do with a certain ingredient, certain component. There is a component of it that is no more. That's what I meant. That's why I said technically it has been dissolved. Not because, what did I mean? Those that came on board became the founding members of it because by endorsing the Swiss process, many of them have pulled away. And number two, the purpose why, what the issue that was on the table that they all endorsed was the Swiss process. If the Swiss process is no more, then do they still endorse it? It's a question. So technically, they are not there. They are not there anymore because the thing that brought us together is no more.
Cameroon is making a contravening statement during this time. What are they saying? They are trying to, from my understanding, and I believe, thank God, Barrister Team is here to help me on that. They are trying to make a statement in the international community that, listen, our national grand dialogue is the way forward. This can be handled. Now we want to get into the subject of today, which is, did Team Amazonia die with the Swiss-led process? And the president has said a yes and a no. In his explanation, he's saying the Bohebet, the Akwangas, and those who have organizations with them and their family and their wives is dead, because what brought us together is no more.
It is a yes and it is a no. So now just some of the reactions in that to Amba Terrorism since Cameroon government, it don't officially tell them say we don't like with cheese, but we could deliver on a free kumkum. Yes. So now the situation that is total confusion in the Amba terrorist camp, and it is fantastic to watch. My contributor, it is really, really fantastic to watch. Now bear with me. I want to prepare something else for you guys. I don't know why this thing. Now bear with me. I'm coming. Okay. I prepare. I want to play for now 2 videos. So this live broadcast will probably prolong to about 1.5 hours. I prepare. I want to play for now. So that was myself talking in my own live broadcast. Right. Okay. Almost there. Because my YouTube don't deny it for work the way I be want make it work. I go one for bring una Bishop Nkea. Bishop Nkea, a BBC interview, and then I go bring una another one about dialogue, or maybe I might go for that dialogue first, the dialogue video before I come for Bishop Kea, the own. So, bear with me, my country people. Videos. See what I mean by this phone, a connection, I mean the tablet. Now the problem, not the tablet, because nobody the connection, because I use the same connection right now for go live, and it's just fine. I need to work out why this tablet like to embarrass me. One of these days I'll work it out. It decide for work when you want work. Just like today when I don't see a send picture where I want show now the picture no coming. That one no want me the picture. Now you way come. Now bear with me. I will make it work. Okay. I'll make it work. Okay, I'll make it work. Now bear with me. There you go. There you go. So another one load my own page properly. So when I listen to this video, now the same kunyams in this way they talk about dialogue. Okay, they talk about Swiss dialogue today with Cameroon government. You don't get no interest in the dialogue. But when I listen to them, time where they talk for 2019, 2021 and all.
The problem, the process is alive because La Republic has committed to be on the table. That's it. If the day La Republic will cease to commit to be on the table, they are committed.
Well, first, let me say the last part. La République du Cameroun is not committed to the process. They are not.
Swiss ceases to be a mediator. Because a mediator is one who is bringing two willing parties together to dialogue and negotiate. If one party ceases to be willing, when one party withdraws its commitment, from that day you cease to be a mediator. So to say that Swiss mediator does not exist is nonsense. They are mediators, they are not negotiators.
I know one of the questions that is being asked out there is La Republic committed? Have they shown any sign of commitment to the Swiss mediation? What would you say to those asking this question?
Yes, they have shown a sign of commitment.
La République du Cameroun is not committed to the process. They are not.
We are still having exchanges. They are still committed to the process. But as to the timing of the negotiation of the face-to-face or so on, that is what is being worked out. That is where what we are still expecting. They're committed to the process of mediation by the Swiss. La Republic remains committed.
La République du Cameroun is not committed to the process. They are not.
Come out and tell Ambazonians, listen, ignore what you hear out there, what you read out there. The Swiss mediation process is real. And that La Republic is actually committed.
Well, first, let me say the last part. La République du Cameroun is not committed to the process. They are not.
The Swiss process suddenly coming to an end as French Cameroon rejects aid. Again, what lies ahead as Cameroon officially rejects Swiss mediation. Fellow Ambazonians, good evening. Today, I had a conversation with the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, popularly known as HD. The Center for Humanitarian Dialogue is the Swiss NGO that was leading the most talked about Swiss mediation process. HD confirmed to me today the news making the rounds in the social media that the Republic of Cameroon has officially checked out of the mediation initiative. A Cameroon government representative, we are told, placed a phone call to the Swiss government and made it official, and uncannily so, that they are no longer interested in pursuing the mediation process. The Swiss government representative, retired Ambassador Ginter, has said that Cameroon would rather prefer that the Swiss join forces with them to lobby the different Ambazonian independent movements in the diaspora. So please, if you are serious, I'm talking again to the Swiss, if you are serious, bring La République to Cameroon. Show us your prowess by bringing La République to Cameroon to the negotiation table. Stop talking one-sidedly. Bring La République to Cameroon to the table and let us talk. How many capacity buildings have you held with La République to Cameroon? I'm speaking to the Swiss. How many? You jump here and there, jump to Washington, D.C., jump to Europe. Hold these meetings for 5 years, nothing to show for it. I hope they all get this message.
Okay, my conspirators. So we'll go now to this message from Archbishop Nkea, and then it will talk something where I go on for elaborate on. We're not going to listen to the whole interview we're doing with the BBC, but when he hits on that part where I want me going to pay attention to, I will stop him and then I will elaborate on, and then we'll end the live broadcast.
Burned down the church during the attack in Chang, which is a community in the country's southwest region. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but the Catholic Church authorities are clear about who they believe is behind it. Archbishop Andrew Nkea is head of the Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province.
On the evening of the 16th of September, some unknown gunmen who claim to be separatist fighters of the Ambazonian forces went to St. Mary's Church, St. Mary's Parish in Chang, in Manfred Diocese. They set the church on fire and abducted 5 priests, 1 reverend sister, and the catechists, and 2 other lay people who were there. And they took them to the forest. That's exactly what happened. They set the church ablaze and they took the priests away, and the religious and the other people into the forests.
Do you have any idea, sir, why this St. Mary's Catholic Church in Nchang, why it was targeted? Is there any significance to the church being attacked?
I have really no idea, but you see, those who abducted these people and set the church ablaze, they are only asking for ransom. So it is very difficult to understand why they would take these people and are asking for ransom. You see, sometimes they are seeing the church as a soft target to be able to make money. But the church has no money to be paying ransom. And that is the difficulty we have until now.
So, if I may check with you, Your Grace, just to get confirmation, when you say they're now asking for ransom, is that the only demand that has been made of you as a church, or that has been made to the authorities when these abductors have got in contact?
Since they got in contact with us, they are only asking for money. There is no other accusation that they are levying against the church or these people. That is all they are asking for. They are claiming that the church has not been supporting the struggle for independence by the separatist fighters, and so they want money. That is all that is coming through. And I wouldn't understand why anybody whatsoever would go and burn the church.
How much are they asking of the Catholic Church in terms of this ransom? How much money, if you could say in dollars, the equivalent?
They're demanding $100,000
and they have been arguing and coming down until they are somewhere now around $50,000, but we just don't have $1 to pay for this kind of thing because we are setting as precedents that we can never ever continue.
What are your fears if then you cannot pay the money? I don't know if they've given you a time, an ultimatum by which this money should be paid. What are your fears if you can't hand over anything to them?
I cannot express particularly any fears now because this is not the first time they are doing this. And we have tried to explain to all those who have always tried to abduct ministers of the church that the church cannot be paying ransom to separatist fighters or to criminals. So that is where we stand. We don't know exactly what will happen, but we just have to stand on our grounds because we cannot do what will never continue.
Archbishop, no doubt you're having to reassure worshippers for the Catholic Church. What are you telling them?
I am telling the worshippers that this is a part of the trials and difficulties that the church of this century has to go through. And we must be able to stand firm on our faith and stand firm amidst these trials. We must not give in to the devil. The devil is a liar and the devil can never win. So we cannot give in to fears and give in to pressure from this kind of forces. We must continue to forge ahead in prayer and standing strong in faith and in unity.
And that faith, no doubt, has sustained you during the period of this war, now into its 6th year. What are your hopes and your desires or your belief that could bring this war that you've seen, at first hand, ravage this nation? What do you think could bring it to an end?
First and foremost, I think we have gone already a long way. Where we are now is not where we were 3-4 years ago. A few more children are going to school. A few more shops are opening. A few more people are returning. But the main problem remains unsolved. And the problem is that...
So my country people them, now the point that way, I want make una listen. The last point where Archbishop Nkea talk him. Because me, I don't make the same point in several audios and other live broadcasts. Where me, I tell when I say it is so, we have come a long way. And now exactly with that way Bishop Nkea to talk him. He say, first of all, we don't come a long way. Things are a lot better today than they were in the past years. He say, one, more school children are going to school. That is a fact. Whether even the Amba terrorists, they will accept for when I say it is so, we don't defeat them for that particular, whether their strategy for school boycott. We don't defeat them to the extent where their own so-called activists now, where the Gary master will say, picking pass to school now, Gary one hand. Now that they talk to make all picking they go for school because they don't see and say that one, it don't backfire. Bishop Kia also talks, say, shops are opening. Now, businesses are opening back. The economic activity is picking up. People are opening businesses, whether a nightclub, to bars, to, they sell things for corner road, banks that they open, and it talks, and people are coming back. The IDPs, the way they were from Chang, they be there for West Region, for Littoral, for Central Region, they are coming back, especially for Libya and all over the Anglophone community. And this is just a fantastic truth, now reality. And Bishop Kea, the talker, the BBC woman said, so things are getting better. We have come a long way. Obviously, it is not the end of the struggle for bring back normalcy and peace into the Anglophone zone. It is not the end of Amba terrorism yet. No one is claiming that. But the reality and activity, we are making gains, and the gains are in our favor. Amba terrorists, they no fit point to one. I mean, say one success in the past 4 or 5 years. One. When I just name one, okay, one thing where they fit point to success and activity. For 2017, they will get no government or one government. By 2022, they get 17 governments. So they are increasing in the number of government and increasing in the number of presidents. But everything else, it will reduce. Okay, they also increase in infighting and insult. When they kosh themselves, they are also increasing in that avenue. But everything else, it then a gear back for the Amba terrorism. Okay, everything else. They even the so-called negotiation, dialogue, or whatever, been at their last hope. their last belly hope now is gone. Totally gone. I was not here when I said, Nasako, it be right to the Swiss. It be beg. Say, me the Swiss, they can't help them, prepare them for dialogue or negotiate. Cameroon government do ignore them. 3-4 years later, and then Cameroon government decides I don't toy with these fools them long enough. So I could just make their depression increase. Tell them, say, we'll not be interested in no dialogue or negotiation. Send them back to the drawing board. They go back for gear 1 to 0. So, okay, now they go start from 0. Now, what is their next strategy? Okay, what is their next strategy? As we don't show now, they be use this begin their education as a leverage. See, it says schools could resume if they give conditions for una on picking if go school. Conditions. And that condition, now wait that way, your opponent just need for ignore you. It win. Says schools could resume if. I show you another one where now when I say I'm not now the Guardian Post Daily. This one now on the 9th of September 2022. Now the Guardian Post Daily right now. It said conflict expert they slammed Amba Terrorism. And then say the advocates make the slam Amba terrorists they're advocating for school boycott in the northwest and southwest. And they tell them say the move is counterproductive and it will not, under the right time, it won't force Yaoundé to negotiation table. It won't. So una stop una all picking them no go school for the next 70 years. No, una will talk about South Sudan. Say if South Sudan get independent, una two now get independent. South Sudan their war be taken at 22 years. That one are just the second Sudanese civil war. The first Sudanese civil war, it will last, I think, 7 or 12 years, something like that. I cannot remember the exact number of years, but it was not no biscuit. That was the first Sudanese civil war. Now the second Sudanese civil war, it ended up for create South Sudan. It lasted 22 years. When I stop when I begin, I mean, they don't go to school for 22 years. It concerned who? Bunch of idiots. Wonder, foolish international idiots and illiterates. That do and so then poor Bia go shake. Poor Bia go shake. Because poor Bia like when I begin the education pass una dolting them.
Hail, hail, hail the Kumkumasa. We the Cameroonians, we pledge our loyalty. Kumkumasa, Kumkumasa, you shall free our country from terror. And your blessing shall be like the stars above. The Most High God shall be your guide.
There is a remnant ADF camp in Tanka, and they should know our restoration forces will come after them. The Alabu camp has been reconstituted into an ADF camp, and there are a few of them there terrorizing every Ambazonian from Meta through Mancon and beyond, kidnapping them and taking ransom. We have a job to do, Chris. We have to go after these guys and decimate them.
Yes, you are very right.
It is uncalled for, because when they do it, it falls on the interim government, and correct. That is what we cannot accept. Look, that cross and die man is coordinating all the kidnapping in Mancon and Quen.
We don't talk this thing. Say AGOPC ADF, na a terror organization led by Lucas Cho Ayaba for Norway, with Benedict Kwa for US, with Ngong Emmanuel Ngong for China, and a number of them we wouldn't do flyers before put out their face. We go now go on a deliberate international campaign for all diplomatic services around the world, designating the AGOPC ADF, led by Cho Ayaba in Norway, as a terrorist organization.